Not on the field, court, or ice. You are on the couch. From DG to DC, this is Coaching from the Couch with your host, C. Wall. Delivering coverage for all DC sports teams from a hometown perspective. Nats, Skins, Mystics, DC United, Washington Wizards, Caps, Bowie State.
My name's C-Wall, I'm a PG girl. Down for my skins, I don't know if you heard. If you like watching sports, then I am your girl. Sit down on the couch if you're not on the field. Cold on the ice, picking any sport that you want. Know that I cover it tight. What would you like? From baseball to football and more. The list can go on the whole night. Big shouts out to my HBCU fam. Never forget who I am. Through the wins and the losses, the highs and the lows. We gotta stay strong, so I stay 10 toes. Make the competition back. The way I kick it, make them mad, man. See all that we live and direct. Sit back on the couch and relax. Come on.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Coaching from the Couch. This is your weekly DMV Sports Update, and I am your host, C. Wall. Listen, as always, you guys, it is a pleasure and an honor to get with you all to say, hey, here is the rundown of everything that is going on in the DMV this week. From a sports perspective, we try to hit every single angle so that you are all up to date and you know exactly what's going on. Listen, I see that everyone is already checking in. Damon, what's up with you? Hey there, Cameron Mingo. Make sure you all are saying a what's up and a shout out to Joy as she facilitates the conversation every single week. You guys may be on my personal page, so you know I have been hosting and being with my family all week long, celebrating graduations and everything like that. So my mom is actually in the building, but she is also virtually with you all. So please say what's up to Mama Waller. You guys are already hitting that love button. So make sure you guys are steadily hitting the love button, sharing the show with your DMV sports loving family and friends. Listen, you guys are here and engaged in the live discussion, which is amazing. We always want you here for the live discussion. But did you hear the huge news? Now you can catch the show every single day. If you are in the DMV, you can catch the show every single day on Bowie Television. That is, if you have Comcast Xfinity, you can catch the show on channel 77, or you can catch it on Verizon Fios channel 11 from 1:30 to 2:30 every day. Okay, every single day. So sometimes, listen, I'm going to be honest with you guys. We're still figuring it out. In the spirit of transparency, we're going to definitely show shows. It could be the same show, could be different shows. But as we are creating and doing more and more content, you all have multiple opportunities, multiple venues to watch Coaching from the Couch. You can catch it right here on Facebook. You can catch it on YouTube and every single day on cable television as well. So listen, what does that mean? That means there's no excuse to miss anything at all going on Coaching from the Couch. Okay, you're going to always be updated with everything going on in DMV sports news. For this show, we're going to be covering the CIAA. So tag in your CIAA, folks. We have a Nats update, a Mystics update. We're absolutely going to get into what the Wizards have been doing with their pre-draft workouts. So you absolutely want Wizards fans engaged in this conversation. And once we get into the Commanders, similar to the previous episode, I will be taking any questions you have regarding OTAs. Okay, so I see DJ Bland has checked in as well. You guys, listen, you've already hit the love button. Make sure you're sharing this show, and let's go ahead and jump right into it. CIAA announced huge news this week. Based on the success of the CIAA tournament this year in Baltimore, Maryland, the CIAA has already expanded in preparing to be in Baltimore, not just in 2023, because 2023 was already planned, but they've expanded into 2024 and 2025. Okay. Huge, huge news, especially with there being concerns about public safety, COVID-19. Folks still showed up. They had all of the right COVID protocols and safety measures in place. A lot of positive feedback on the increased number of jobs, the increased revenue, the support to small and local businesses. Listen, this is huge for HBCUs. This is huge for the CIAA, and it is absolutely huge for the DMV. Okay? Everyone knows when they first started the CIAA basketball tournament, it was huge in Charlotte. North Carolina did amazing things for their community and for their city. So already the impact is shown of what that tournament alone has brought to the state of Maryland, to the city of Baltimore. So kudos to everyone involved in that, in making that a huge success. Next year's date, are you all ready? Do you have your pen and paper? Because you need to be at the CIAA tournament. It's going to be in Baltimore, Maryland, February 20th through the 26th. Now, I might have added a day there on the end. It's either the February 25th or 26th, but starting February 20th in 2023. Okay? So make sure you all are locked in and ready to go with that. Okay, gotta definitely drop some fire emojis on that, because that is huge news for the area, you all. That is a major sports tournament in this area, and that is absolutely exciting. Absolutely something that you love to see and want to see more of. And shout out to our HBCUs and the CIAA for certain. Okay, Nats fans, have any Nats fans checked in? How are y'all holding up? How are the Nats fans holding up? Y'all doing all right? Is everyone doing okay? Listen, here's the thing that I wanted to bring up about the Nats, because listen, they're still, current record 18-34. All right. So today they're at the Cincinnati Reds, and they're at the Cincinnati Reds through June the 5th. Then they're at the Miami Marlins June the 7th through June the 9th. Now, the Cincinnati Reds aren't doing all that great either. They're 17-32 right now. Neither are the Miami Marlins. They're 20-28. So, hey, maybe the Nats can come up with a few W's on that road trip. Okay. Here's something that I thought was interesting. Right now, the Nats are looking at about what's being reported, a 0.1% chance of making the playoffs. But I just felt like sharing that. Listen, I don't think we've talked about this, but have we discussed that there have been reports that the Nats did give Juan Soto an offer during the lockout, ahead of the lockout this past season, that the Nats gave Juan Soto a 13-year, $350 million offer, which he declined. We may have discussed that, you all, but with everything going on, I might have just kind of blocked it out, to be honest with you. So listen, I said, how can Juan Soto or anyone else, I'm going to keep bringing this up, how can anyone make a true organizational business decision about the Nats when all of the conversation around the team being sold is happening? Now, have there been any public reports about any movement? No, there's no public reports about any movement, but I think it's very, very clear that, listen, it's what can you do? What can you do? I mean, who's going to really want to do business? Who has anything thought process relevant to the Nats? Who wants to commit long term when there's all this conversation about the team being sold? And I've shared my theory on this many times about the Nats and what has happened. And when they went on that fire sale last year, I really think, and we know that this family, the Lerner family, has always been reported that they make decisions based on consensus. So, hey, listen, if it's word that they're exploring a sale, they're absolutely doing that. With that being said, it's going to be hard for anyone to want to commit to a team when it's like, hey, listen, a couple years out, of winning the World Series. You just let everybody go, it seems like, and now there's just nothing happening. Listen, we know a couple years ago, matter of fact, the year that they won the World Series, they started out pretty bad and dismal. But you're not dealing with the same group of players and the same group of people that you were at that time. Listen, I think this is definitely a story that needs to still be tracked. But I'm going to always say it again. When there is smoke, there's fire. They're talking about selling the team. It's absolutely going to happen. I said this on a previous show. Hey, listen, this is happening. They just need a buyer. Why would anybody want to commit long-term without knowing where the whole direction of the organization? What's up? What you trying to do? You can't answer that question when your ownership is in flux right now. It's just not something that can be answered. If I am absolutely looking through the chat, I want to make sure I say what's up to my urban sports scene fellow media colleague, Wale. What's up? I always say his name wrong. Wale, you know. Hopefully I'll see you outside soon at Commanders Park, my friend. We'll talk more about that later, okay? Because I want to make sure you all drop your questions about Commanders OTAs in the chat, because I'm going to get to that in a minute. But that's all I have to really say about the Nets. Listen, I don't blame Juan for declining the offer. Nobody knows where the organization is going. This is a story we'll continue to track as time goes on, because it's definitely something that needs to be watched. Mystics fans, where are you, Mystics fans? And still to come, we're going to do this update on the Mystics, Wizards, pre-draft, workout, content, and then Commanders OTAs. Okay? Mystics fans, check in, drop a love emoji, a fire emoji. The Mystics all set to play the New York Liberty on June 3rd. Alicia Clark is out for this game, and she may be out the remainder of the weekend. She was at practice today, but I think this is really surrounding just conditioning. I don't think there's anything to be concerned about. But we know that coach and general manager Mike Tebow has been huge on health and the longevity of the players for the season, having gone through what they've gone through the last few years in injuries since they won the championship. To that end, Elena Deladon, we know, has been sitting out, resting, but she is set to play the next 3 games. Then she'll be off again. Okay, so it's kind of always depending on how she feels and how she's doing, but that is kind of the plan. She's going to play the next 3, and then she'll be off again. But again, it could be subject to change. She could play less, she could play more. Really depends. Mystics wear orange in unity to end gun violence now. If you are going to the game against the New York Liberty Friday, June the 3rd at 7 at the Entertainment and Sports Arena in Congress Heights, the Mystics are hosting a special Wear Orange game where fans are encouraged to wear orange and share photos and messages on social media using the hashtag Wear Orange. They're doing this in collaboration with the amazing nonprofit, the Soul Box Project. So check in. Let me know if you are going to any of that. Anybody going? Anybody? So let's see, you guys. Who's up next? I think the Wizards are up next. The Wizards they're just moving, aren't they? They are just moving. While I list off the names of who the Wizards have had at their pre-draft workouts, let me know how you're feeling about them. Okay, do you like any of these players? So we know one, Eric Ayala, right, from Maryland, Anthony DeRigi, Grant Golden, Brandon Horvath, Daryl Morcell, Deshaun Schwartz has been there, Keeve Aluma, Justin Bean, Marcus Bingham Jr., Kofi Cockburn, Colin Gillespie, Quentin Jackson. And we're going to show a couple of the interviews as well. Up tomorrow on June 3rd, Alex Barcelo, Josh Carlton, McCurr Maker, Gene Montero, Charlie Moore, and JD Note. Okay. Does anybody have any preferences on all those names that I just shared? Anybody? Check this out. I really enjoyed. Of course, I listened in on a few of the interviews, so I'm going to share some of those with you all here.
This week I go out West Coast doing a couple different workouts out there. So it's a grind right now, but I'm loving it. I'm loving the process. I'm loving, playing against all these great players and just showing my talents for real.
I know teams will kind of throw something different in there. Did anything about the workout today, anything they had you do surprise you?
Ooh, them 20 lines. Them 20 lines. This was the first team that actually made us run something like that. Really? Most teams kind of incorporated some ball stuff in it. I did some run at some of the other workouts, but not 20 lines in 2 minutes. That was tough. But they trying to see us how we fight. They trying to see how we react to adversity and how we play when we tired. So it's all in preparation for real.
With the schedule that you have, does this stop mean anything more to you? Just because you're past the area and everything like that, family here?
It definitely hits home. Being from here, going to college right down the street, being a lot closer to home, it definitely hit a little different. But everything moving so fast, I don't even really get to spend 24 hours here. So it definitely hit different. But I got to move on and keep going.
You were off to that growing up in Baltimore, spending all that time in Maryland. What would it mean if the Wizards were the team that took a chance that you go there?
It would mean a lot. Just the tradition in this organization, all the great people that then came through here, and you kind of just see the character and kind of just the tradition within the organization with a lot of former players coming back to work for them, a lot of staff that's been around for a long time. It would definitely mean a lot. I would love to play for the Washington Wizards.
What was it like taking the court with Eric today? It's probably been a bit since you guys did that.
It was fun. I haven't seen him or got to play with him in a year. Yesterday I walked in after I got here. I seen him. We kind of just had a great embrace. We hugged each other.
Listen, I say, hey, whenever somebody says they would love to play for the Washington Wizards, I felt like that was something that needed to be shared because it's also, players say this, right? And sometimes they're just talking. And other times I can really sense when I'm like, okay, I really think that's what they mean and that's what they're saying. While we're checking out some of the footage also provided by Wizards PR, overall, my sense after listening to a lot of the interviews was just the energy. And I absolutely want to share a couple more things. I guess some of the things that I am sharing with some of the interviews that the players were doing. It's a couple more I want you all to listen into, Wizards, especially those that are Wizards fans. It's always interesting when they share because some players don't share where they're headed next and who they've had their other pre-draft workouts with. But I still think it's important when they do end up telling this is where I'll be going, or this is where I'll be in the next few days. Check out this next interview. I thought this one was pretty cool.
It was a blessing. Just being in an environment where, everybody was into it. All the staff was here. They was all into it and engaged, and it was just fun. You dream of being in environments like this and competing with my colleagues and my peers and stuff. And so I had a lot of fun today. A lot of fun.
What are you trying to show teams in these settings?
Just my competitiveness, my toughness, my will to win. I ain't lose too many games today in our competition. So I'm a competitor. I want to win. I want to be at the highest stage, the highest level, and that's my mindset going into it.
What's your schedule like right now? What stop is this for you? Where are you going next?
So this is actually my first stop. I've been in Puerto Rico for the last month and a half, and I think I'm headed to Toronto in a few days. So I'm excited. It's just you wish to be here. You pray, and just want to thank God for blessing me with this opportunity.
Spending so much time at Maryland, what would it mean if the Wizards were the team?
Yeah.
I know it's also not too far from where you grew up.
Yeah, it's a blessing. my whole mindset was going to Maryland is so my mom could see me play. A lot of people know that I'm close to my mom, and she's been there throughout my whole journey. So it'd be a blessing for her to just, make that ride down the road, like she did at Maryland, and come watch me play. So, wherever I do get put or placed in, I'm blessed. But definitely Washington, like a lot of Terps in here, a lot of guys from Maryland and stuff. So it's nice to see a lot of familiar faces, and just happy to be here.
So again, another player familiar with the area, already excited and thinking about the opportunity of potentially getting drafted by the Wizards and how that will be exciting for his mom, for himself, especially given he already has relationships built here. Here's why I picked the next interview. And the next one that I'm going to show a clip of is with Colin Gillespie. A lot of teams have tapped Colin and have invited him out for pre-draft workouts. Check this out.
How did you enjoy this? And how did it go?
Yeah, I thought it was really good. I've had a few so far, so I'm starting to get used to the routine that we go through. But it was really good. It was competitive, a lot of energy, but I had a really good time.
Where have you worked out before today, and where have you worked out before today?
I had a few before the combine. I had Atlanta and Brooklyn before, and then I went to Boston. And then I just came from LA, and I was in Golden State yesterday.
Clippers or the Lakers?
Clippers.
How taxing is that? Just the schedule that you've been on for the last couple of weeks leading up to the
Yeah, it's a grind for sure. A lot of travel. I came from Golden State yesterday. I'll go to Charlotte right after this tonight, so and work out there tomorrow. But it's what I've dreamt of for so long, so I'm taking it all in, having fun with it, enjoying the process, and just trying to work as hard as I can.
Some of the things you do best?
I think I shoot at a high level, make good reads out of pick and roll, and I just compete. I try to play winning basketball, and that's what I hope to bring to a team is just a winner's mentality and do whatever it takes to win.
Hey, Colin, what did you like me to work on today?
I thought we played well. We were split up, but it was competitive, a lot of energy. I thought our team played well together. We competed, talked a little bit, and the main thing for us was just playing hard and competing on both ends of the floor.
Any guys from Villanova you've been able to maybe lean on and get some advice that you guys go through this process?
Yeah, we've had a lot of guys go through it. I'm super close with Jalen still, so I talk to him every day. Dante's been super helpful.
So listen, I don't know about you all, but when Colin started listing off all of the teams he had already visited, I said, well, let me take my notebook out and let me write these down. A lot of interest for him, I see. So listen, it remains to be seen. The Wizards are showing that they have a variety of different players. I really like that they all mentioned throughout their interviews the intensity, the energy. A lot of the staff members were there, present and engaged, and a lot of the players and participants mentioned that as well as a positive thing. So we're going to keep tracking it. You always know that we do with Seawall Sports and Entertainment and share that information with you all. So to close out the show, as we normally do, we are covering the Commanders OTAs. Drop your love button, your fire emoji, Commanders fans, if you are all checked in. While you are dropping any questions that you have for me in the chat, I'm taking questions again on Commanders OTAs. I'm going to share with you all what was also announced today, which is the Commanders 2022 preseason schedule. Here it is, everyone. The preseason schedule. Hey, I felt a little excited about it. I was like, oh, football will be back in just a few more months, people. But hey, here is the preseason schedule. If you all recall, because the league now is going into week 17, they kicked off a week in preseason. So we're just looking at 3 games during the preseason, no longer 4. So that is what the preseason time looks like. You all make sure you all are planning accordingly. So let's see. I see this question from Eric Jessup. Tight end room crowded. Who might could get traded and what could they get? At this point, every room is crowded. The running back room is crowded. The wide receiver room stays always crowded. So I think this is just a kind of what they do every year. All the rooms are crowded right now at the positions, and I think that it's not a method of who would get traded and what could they get. I don't think there's a trade looming. I think this is just a matter of being very competitive at each position. I don't think the tight ends, I think they know that is a key position that they need support. When Logan Thomas went down, I mean, who else could they consistently call on? I think this is something that they just know, and everybody knows that tight end is a key position. It's a key offensive weapon. And we know, because Coach Rivera has said this over and over and over again, is that they need as many offensive weapons as possible. And I think that's exactly what they're aiming for. And that's why we're seeing the talent that they have in these very crowded rooms. So knowing that they want as many offensive weapons for Carson, because he likes to say that, for Carson, then I think that's what they're trying to do. I see this question here from Damon. How is Logan and Chase health? I think they're doing great. Sometimes my answers are very direct. They're fine. I saw them, they're there. Again, I mentioned this in the previous episode of the show. They are there. They are around. They are active. They are engaged in practice. They are engaged with their teammates. And I think they're coming along just fine. Just fine. Any other comments, questions? I see a comment from Wallace regarding keeping with the maybe four tight ends, and tight ends are going to eat good with Carson. Yeah, I think so. Seems like it. I want to go back while you all are still thinking of potential questions, and we only got a couple more minutes, so make sure you try to get them in. I want to mention running back. One of my key takeaways from being out there this week is that if everyone stays healthy, the running back position is really, really good. I really like Brian Robinson. I do. That kid is he mean. I said, oh yeah. He's good. Really good. So with that tandem with Antonio Gibson and JD McKissick and others as well, I like Brian Robinson. I'm gonna go ahead and say it. Another question, try to get those questions in. How has Jamin looked in this early portion of year 2? Still very early. He looks physically, he looks good. He looks like he's bulked up a bit, but kind of quiet in OTAs so far. But in OTAs, I mean, they're playing, they're practicing. They're not in pads or anything, but they are going through the motions. But he's there, he's looking solid, he's looking like he's super engaged, and that he's trying to just go through the motions and really learn so that he can elevate in year 2. How has Curtis Samuel looked coming off an injury? I'm gonna be really honest with you all. Curtis Samuel's out here looking like he was never hurt. And that's my very blunt, direct initial reaction. He looks like he was never hurt. Same thing with JD McKissick, might I add, going back to the running back position, and seeing how things go there. Of course, Terry's contract talk, same. They're talking. Oh, and let me mention this. With this being June 1st, they have some contracts that came off the books as well. So they're talking and things are moving along. You all, we've made it to another show. Can you believe it? Isn't that awesome? Isn't that amazing? I hope you all have had just as much fun as I have in sharing this week's DMV Sports highlights with you all. Listen, you all, please be safe. Be well. And listen, I can't wait to come back and talk to you guys again soon.